Here we are. Huh? Ready?
Sorry, guys, we're late.
We're late. I was trying
I woke up late too.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Saturday, and I was laying in bed, and I'm like, oh, I'm sleeping, and then I fell asleep for another hour, and then I was laying there, and then it's Saturday. Oh my God, I gotta get up.
That's it. That's it. But we are here. We managed in the end.
Made it.
We made it. That's great. Of course, we don't have that many viewers. Probably some
and
of them.
And then you had the time wrong. So.
Then I had the time wrong on the setup of the video. Wow.
Hi, VJ. Hi, Polly. Hi, Nico. Nico's.
Saturday, April 23rd of the year of the Lord 2022. This is the Leo Zagami show with Leo and Christy Zagami. Today I'm parading a Johnny Depp look.
This is his Johnny Depp look.
This is my Johnny Depp look.
But I don't look like Amber Heard.
Ready for the most unusual geopolitical analysis to date with Leo and Christy, a rundown of our weekly news, but also a subject today, a subject of some importance because it comes from the Rockefeller Foundation. This warning we've been titling the video with a warning. We will be talking also about that. This is the Leo Zagami show. Okay. And then we have many things that happened this week. We had the controversy with Piers Morgan and Donald J. Trump.
I like all this funny news, like Johnny Depp and
then
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson beating up somebody on a plane. And then we have somebody instead for a bunch of likes. He crashed the plane and he just threw himself from the plane. What a week of demented news, but also, of course, the ongoing crisis in Ukraine, which in Mariupol is still happening there. It's still happening. There is still fight in this Azov battalion that doesn't want to give up their last position, probably holding a lot of people, also prisoners in this mega plant, which of course is used for this last confrontation, which is ending though soon, because I think Mariupol is falling in the hands completely of the Russians. But then, as I predicted at the beginning of the war, now finally they're talking about Moldova being invaded. I said it before everybody else. I even wrote an article on Leo Zagami. I said it on InfoWars. I said it on this show. I wrote an article about it. Nobody wanted to believe me.
Oh, people believe you. Everybody believes you. Yeah.
Well, but in any case,
we all believe you. That's why we listen to you.
Commander hints at Russian ambition beyond Ukraine. We can play that on the screen. We can put it on the screen. Okay, here we are. And here, of course, it says very clearly, neighboring Moldova. I'm like.
So why do they want to go into Moldova?
Because there is Transnistria, which is a pro-Russian faction, and after the fall of the Soviet Union, Moldova was really left in limbo between not joining really fully the European Union or NATO, and that is why they can be attacked just like Russia has done with Ukraine, because they are not under the famous close fire protection of NATO, because they're not members of NATO. Air conditioning, Christy? Air conditioning?
Certo.
Certo. That's what they say in Italian. Okay, so basically, I had written that a long time ago. I think on my website, even dedicated a title to it. Let me see if I still have it here. Yes. I actually wrote it on. And then I actually said even before it was, let me show the article in question from the 2nd of March. For those who read, of course, the leozagami.com post articles, which I regularly post. Here we are. This is an article from, you see? Belarusian President Zelensky revealed plans to invade Moldova as Zagami predicted on Info. So I already predicted.
So when was that? March 1st?
I predicted on Sunday, February 27 on the Alex Jones show that their plans was to invade Moldova. Now we are April the 23rd, and finally we have basically a Russian commander that admits their plans, because you see, by adding Moldova to the equation, they really take the whole south of Ukraine. They can link it to Moldova, which is next to it on the lower part, and at that point they can connect it all the way to Russia through the proclaimed republics of Donetsk and Luhansk. So full control of eastern and southern Ukraine is basically what this commander is admitting, but also they do shift condemnation. You see, Moldova is, of course, condemned and worried. Residents are worried since the beginning of the war. They could be next in the Kremlin close chess. And that's why I was the first analyst to point that out. And I'm very glad I did, because now I have confirmation of it all. Ladies and gentlemen, my tie, very giant type. Okay. This is our Saturday appointment show. You say show in English, not appointment. No, show. Okay, so let's talk about the subject, the main subject of today, which we will be discussing later on with our viewers. When we open the phone lines, it will be a subject of discussion, because we have discussed earlier in our shows the possibility of an impending food crisis due to the fact that the most of the flour and the grains come from Ukraine and Russia, as well as the fertilizers, which is really what is possibly triggering one of the biggest food crises of the last few years. That's why at this point, the Rockefeller Foundation sees massive global food crisis. I mean, this is Bloomberg. This is not a conspiracy news site. And it says here, you see, April 21st, the Rockefeller Foundation President Rajiv Shah, and here we have, of course, a lot of difficulty in kind of, that's it. The war has put at risk of wheat, corn, sunflower oil, and other foods from Russia and Ukraine that account for more than 10% of all calories traded globally, driving up food prices in low-income countries that are already relying from pandemic. Really? I'm sorry, I'm not relying. Yeah, thank you, Chrissy. That's why we have you here. Most of all, we have you here because of your beautiful presence. Let's say the truth. But you also are a beautiful mind that has some very interesting opinions that sometimes even differ from my own. Mm-hmm. So we are not really, I mean, but I mean,
a lot of times.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
No, not that many times.
Yeah, we have debates.
Yeah. The U.S. should lead effort to fully fund the United Nations World Food Program. So the U.S. is already bankrupt, and now they should lead efforts to fully fund. Where are we going to get the money for if we sell all the money for the weapons? This really it's not going anywhere here. In any case, Shah, former U.S. Agency for International Development Minister during the Obama administration, of course, said this in an interview on Bloomberg Television. And disruption in global food fertilizer supplies caused by the war will have an even worse impact on global hunger, cutting crop yields in Africa and other parts of the developing world. This is a subject, like I said, we already touched touched with this terrible possibility for mankind. I mean, famine is a terrible thing, you know, Christy. I mean, famine is really something we wanted to avoid, but unfortunately, it seems like the plan of the Great Reset, which, by the way, it's all described here, this plan, and where it comes from. And so you can have this book in both paperback or even in hardback edition, which is even better if you want to save it for the time in which books will have again a prominent position in society once probably the digital era will end up. No? What do you think? I mean, we always encourage to buy paper books rather than the Kindle format, of course. For those who want to maybe for some reason buy the Kindle format, sometimes it's handy to have also the Kindle format. Buy also the Kindle format, but also, not only, because one day maybe the digitalization empire we have created will fall into pieces and leave a desert behind if we have the fall of this civilization, a civilization collapse. You know? Bruce says, you're embarrassing Christy with the truth, a beautiful mind. Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, I want to say something.
Yes.
Something. On Tuesday.
Okay, let's make you close to the camera.
No.
Yes.
Tuesday at, why did you do it like that? Tuesday at 3 o'clock, between 3 and 4, I'm doing a show with Professor Yamamoto. Yamamoto. Yes. Yeah, he's a professor. He has his
Yamamoto.
Yeah, Daryl. And he has his own YouTube channel. And so he asked me to be on because he read my books, and he's Japanese. And so he's interested in.
Yeah, I've been on his show, and it's a great show.
Yeah, it is. He's really nice.
It's a great show. So encourage also all our viewers to check it out. I was his guest for a very pleasant show based on my latest book, basically, or on all my work, really. I mean, it was a very in-depth interview. And then now he has asked the possibility to interview Christy, which is, of course, a great interview because Christy has also a couple of books to promote.
Yeah, it's about my 2 books that I wrote. So,
well, I mean, these are cool books. Books, absolutely. So, when is that happening again, Christy?
On Tuesday.
From what time to what
3
time?
3 to 4. I'm still doing
3 to 4 Pacific Standard Time. Let's be specific with.
But I don't know, like if we're gonna do our show in the morning or after. We can do it after.
Yes,
then I'll be ready, and then
you're ready to stop.
Rambo might have a fit, but
we might have to bring Rambo out before we start. So take a 15-minute break between one show and the other. And Rambo, I watch it. This is sleeping.
Well, I have an hour break. So.
No, 3 to 4. Ah, okay, yes. Okay, guys. So, how is everything going today? We are analyzing, of course, the weekly news, and we have a lot of it. So we're gonna start. Though, I mean, first of all, like I said, the subject of the day that needs to be discussed with our viewers is the food crisis, because I would like to know from our viewers how they are preparing for this impending food crisis. That is the subject of the day. So prepare yourself for the questions also that you might have.
I made pasta.
Christy made fresh pasta because
I learned how to make it.
Yes,
he has to have pasta, and so if we run out, then I'm gonna have to make it, and I have a lot of flour. So
yes, the thing that people might not know is that most of the pasta brands that you see in the shops rely on supplies from Ukrainian flour, which this year might be cut in half by the war. So for that reason, I think that it was the best thing possible to buy a pasta machine, one of these. How does it work, Casey? Can you tell?
It's just like you can make it with eggs, or you can make the pasta with water.
Okay, I will tell the viewers that when you make pasta with water, it's a little bit more difficult. I mean, most of the pasta you see in the shop, durum wheat, is made with water, not with eggs. But they have, of course, a way of drying it, and then, it's sold worldwide. When you make fresh pasta, it's a different matter because you have to put it together, and the egg kind of helps the flour coming together in that
made.
way. You haven't made yet the water pasta. We will have to experiment with that. But I want to show Christie's fresh fettuccine.
It's not really perfect at all.
No, but that is the beauty
that's
of it.
That's a lot of pasta, guys. Let me tell you. I didn't know if I was making enough, and that's enough.
How many eggs you use, Christy?
4.
How many eggs
4.
you use?
It's like you use 1 egg per person.
Okay.
But I use 4.
So we had basically, I had a portion for 2 people. That's why today
I feel a portion for 3 people.
So I need to go to swim pool today and do at least 20 laps.
Show the other picture though.
Which picture is that?
I cooked it.
Ah, yes. The other picture was posted this morning instead. This is when the pasta is basically made and it's ready to be put. You sprinkle a little bit of flour on it. Yeah. And you keep it for how long, Christy, before you use this pasta? I mean, is there for how long? You kept it for a couple of hours out, 2 or 3 hours out.
Yeah.
The Italian usually then they put a piece of paper. You put what did you put? Some paper. How you say? Paper towels from the kitchen, just not to have any animals lying on it. If there's a fly or anything, or and in Italy there's a lot of flies, so they cover it up like that, and then they use this pasta, and it's a fantastic pasta. It's of course not. It's not made by a machine, so it can be different at times. It's the beauty of fresh pasta.
But everybody, you can do it yourself. If I can do it, anybody can do it. You don't have to have any kind of special talent.
So in times of war, when eventually we might not have the possibility of buying or purchasing dried pasta anymore, we have the solution. We have the solution.
I'll do a tutorial on how to make pasta.
Yeah, we will do a tutorial, and I am gonna show you now. Hopefully this thing works out, and I can show you. Let me show. Of course, I have to.
There it is.
Here it is. Okay, so are you ready? This is the final result. After Christy also made a beautiful sauce, though. The sauce was good. Sauce made with is a ragu.
Yeah.
Christy, we like to tell our audience how you make this fantastic ragu sauce, because we don't like ready-made sauces in this. We never use ready-made sauces. Now, when you came to Italy for 1 year, you basically didn't cook. I was the one cooking, and
I started a vacation.
Yes, and I started to teach you how to make fresh sauce.
Yeah, it's not hard.
It's not hard. You learn very fast.
Yeah.
And then you became even better than me.
You can make lemon meringue pie. I think you can make anything. So
Okay, so this is a ragu, so with meat, okay? A pasta sauce with meat, then of course embellished with the basil.
Oh, you just fry it. You just put like hamburger. You can put sausage. You brown in some olive oil and some. I put onion, and then you just brown it, and then I put some tomatoes too, some fresh tomatoes, and then I just cut up little ones, and then I put 1 can of tomato paste. No, not tomato sauce. It's just it comes in a can, and then
some people say we might not have eggs. So what is the solution, Christy? And I think that we have a solution. We need to, and you actually should try it out, because you have bought during the pandemic dried eggs. Make the face. So I didn't see you very convinced about using dried eggs.
I mean, you can make pasta with water. So the only thing is flour and water, and that's it. Or flour and eggs. That's all there is.
What about dried eggs?
I don't know.
Because I think how long do they last as dried eggs? First of all,
I don't know. They probably expire now. I bought them in the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay, but we should buy more, because it's always good to have dried eggs, especially now that the eggs are going up in price.
Okay.
So we should buy more dried eggs, because they can be used also. You use the dried eggs for cooking. How was it? You use them for cakes. You use them for.
I made pancakes, and then I made some cake with it. So you just put water with like a tablespoon, I think, and it's like powdered. So I think having these things is good.
Here,
kind of staples.
our friend Bruce is putting a link. My Patriot Supplies products that also offered powdered whole eggs, 72 servings.
Yeah, maybe we should buy them from there.
Well, I think we should buy just the best ones that you can find, possibly organic. Okay.
They are organic.
So yeah, just buy whatever you bought already, and then we keep it on the side, because the crisis with the eggs, due to the fact there is this bird flu, is increasing, as well as even the processed plants are strangely enough, processed plants have been almost targeted in the last couple of weeks by accidents, planes that fall on them, all kinds of things. So even Tucker Carlson last night, I think, pointed out on this strange event. Why are we having all these processed food processing plants that are basically...
Are they doing it on purpose?
It seems like it. I mean, it's like really weird. I read an article this morning about it. I don't know if I'm going to find it, but it kind of seems a little bit weird that it's happening, all this in the last couple of weeks. I mean, planes that crash on Mills food processing plant or on other processing plant, or what do you think, Christy? It's a little bit suspicious, no?
I think it's suspicious.
And it's of course connected maybe to our possible future Bill Gates driven Soylent Green kind of artificial burger and the likes. I mean, they want to make everything artificial. It seems that is...
So, I mean, if they're doing that on purpose, everything is just done to starve us. Make it worse.
To make it the worse.
Worse and worse. Like, just keep making it really bad for people. And then...
I want to show something to our viewers, because what we've been discussing, it's, I think, of great importance. I mean, here we're talking about the food that we put on our plate. I mean, it's not like a joke. So let me show you this this article that was just posted by the Gateway Pundit about it. Here it is. Tucker Carlson discussed food processing plant across the country catching fire. Over a dozen factories destroyed, including 2 this week in plane crashes.
That's just weird.
I mean, guys, what is happening? What is happening? I mean, apart from the Putin price hike, that of course, you know, fingers of course have been pointed at the war in Ukraine, but here there is the bird flu, the food processing plants that are set on fire. This week alone, there were 2. It says here, separate accident, where a plane crashed into food processing. How is possible that 2 different planes crash, one in Idaho and one in Georgia?
On the same day?
Two different days, one on the 13th, one on the 21st at the General Mills processing facility.
Well, that's all GMO.
Yeah, but I mean, the one in Idaho, I don't know what it was, but I mean, it's like, here, I mean, it's just insane. What is happening here? So they are warning us that we will be starving. That is the Rockefeller Foundation that is saying that. And at the same time, there is all these things that are happening behind the scenes. And the bird flu. I mean, what do we know of this bird flu? Isn't it the bird flu itself another biological warfare attack? So here we are really messing up with our food supplies in a way that might be irreversible at one point. So I beg you to buy as much flour as you can, as much pasta as you can, if you like pasta like me. I stash it under the bed. And otherwise, instruct your own wife, like I did with Christy, on making fresh pasta, even if she didn't love the experience at the beginning.
Instruct your wife.
But at the beginning, I must admit, at the beginning, Christy told me to fuck off. But then you liked it.
Yeah. Well, actually worked out. I liked it, but
when it worked out, you like.
I wasn't in a good mood when I made the first batch. I was not in. You have to put a lot of flour in the machine, or the dough sticks. So make sure you use a lot of flour. Like, make sure it doesn't stick to your hands at all, because then it'll stick in the machine, and when you roll it, it's just a mess. So, yeah, like, it's easy. I'm like, why don't you do it?
Okay, guys, this is the Leo Zagami Show with Leo and Christy Zagami. Saturday, April 23rd, 2022. We, of course, need your support. So purchase my books, volume 6.66. The Age of Cyber Satan, Artificial Intelligence and Robotics is an essential reading, as well as the book I showed you earlier on, volume 7. This is from the Occult Roots of the Great Reset to the Populist Roots of the Great Reject. And then we have volume 4. We have, of course, Christie's books. We have volume 5. A lot of books. And if you have already the books, but you still want to support us, that's possible. I mean, we have unfortunately had some problems with PayPal. That meant really that 3/4 of our donations kind of extinguished. And so now we're using GoFundMe, which still supports us, strangely enough. And then we have Fundly. So there is these two means, and then we have CashApp, for those who live in the United States and in Great Britain. The Leo Zagami Show!
Stop it.
Okay.
Why you gotta do that?
Why you have to do that? Okay, there is people who do all kinds of things, though, Christy, for having some visualization. And I'm not talking about doing this with the camera. I'm talking...
look what you did!
And then...
Oh, my God.
And then... Okay, but we didn't crash a plane. If we catch the plane, we will have 1.7 million visualization, Christy. and so I'm going to show our viewers what happened when this gentleman here literally crashed a plane to have visualizations. And this is what happens in the world today. People will do anything for some visualization, even risking the life of other people, because if, of course, you go on a plane and you leave the plane like this, you don't know if somebody's gonna, be down there. And okay, it was here, and I think it was actually somewhere around here, in a place that is not inhabited by anybody, but yet there is the risk.
A YouTuber had his pilot's license revoked for crashing a plane on purpose. Trevor Jacob is a snowboarder who represented the United States at the 2014 Sochi Olympics. He's got over 130,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, where he posts his adventures. It's a stunt from December 2021 that has Jacob in hot water with the Federal Aviation Authority. In a video titled, "I Crashed My Plane," Trevor is seen parachuting over the Los Padres National Forest in California, leaving his Taylorcraft BL-65 plane to crash without a pilot. Jacob says his engine stopped.
Holy I'm over the mountains and I get out an engine out.
But he made no attempt to call air traffic control's emergency line or restart the engine before bailing on the aircraft. The fact that he was already wearing a parachute and that his selfie stick was in hand as he jumped had
it was in hand. It was in hand, of course. The guy wanted to get 1.7 million viewers. I mean, Christy, can you parachute me from
you fell out of a tree.
The other day, yes. And the fault was this, really. I had a marijuana gummy. That's the problem. And
well,
then
always eat those though.
Well, no, I don't really actually eat the marijuana gummies. So I might smoke but
so you had this idea because you ate the gummy?
I don't know. At one point I saw a tree and I climbed on it. But the problem was, Christy, what happened after?
You had to get down from the tree and you jumped like backwards out of the tree.
Yes.
And then you fell and rolled down the hill.
If you filmed it, I could have probably got 1 million viewers. You think? It was as demented of throwing yourself off the plane.
It's funny. I didn't laugh at first because I was afraid he got hurt.
Yeah, I didn't. Fortunately, I
help you out.
Fortunately, did a lot of judo.
You brought up the tree really good. I think you just you lost your balance.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I did a lot of judo, and so I know how to fall, which is very important.
You kind of rolled down there and then looked around to see if anybody saw you.
But I didn't get to 1.7 million viewers like this guy. That's how it is. I didn't get the 1.7 million viewers. But because we didn't have the camera. Leo Zagami climbing on a tree and then jumping backward. Because that my intention was, when I arrived in the tree, I said, oh, wow, I'm on top of the tree now. So I'm going to come off of this tree. And then I had the brilliant idea of jumping backwards and landing on my feet, which, I mean, it could have worked out, but then I lost the balance. Huh?
Sorry for you.
But it was a week of jackass moves.
Oh, yeah. You're like, that was...
It was a jackass move. That was a jackass move. Okay, welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. 10 minutes to the hour. Yeah, 10 minutes to the hour.
Wow, that went quick or late.
Well, a little bit late. Not too much, though. Not too much. We are already half an hour into the show, and we're going to show more events from this crazy week, starting from Piers Morgan, who interviewed Donald J. Trump, and then put together this official teaser, which is really, I mean, it's just like showbiz.
Okay, Piers, I'm ready.
A former president in denial.
I'll be completely straight with you to your face.
I think I'm a very honest man. Much more honest than you, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a free and fair election. You lost.
Only a fool would think
You
that.
think I'm a fool?
I do now, yeah.
With respect.
Excuse me.
Okay, but with respect,
The
you have
legislature-
produced the hard evidence.
Excuse me.
The most explosive interview of the
I
year.
don't think you're real.
I realize I'm not like
very
you.
dishonest.
I
Let's
just-
finish
One
up the-
thing, though, that Trump really, under HD camera and in light, looks really like he's very sweaty. No, apart from the fact he does too much sunbed. Yeah. But I must say that
At least he looks like he's alive.
Yeah, no, he's not a corpse, a moving corpse like Biden. That's for sure.
I like him.
Morgan
I'm
versus
Turn the
Trump.
camera
pretty
off.
up with him now. I like him.
Only on
Yeah,
Talk
everything else.
TV.
So that was basically the trailer that rocked the. I mean, of course, he's starting a new show. He wanted to really edit it like it was, I mean, like Trump kind of got pissed off and gave up and just. But in reality, Piers Morgan thanked Trump and wrapped up the interview in a completely different way. Let's hear what happened in reality.
Because they're not going to do that.
We need a. We're an hour in, so we need a wrap.
A few quick questions and then.
Thank you.
One of the big questions being put to lots of politicians right now is, what is a woman?
I'm not going to respond to the question, but a woman is somebody that swims at a certain time and doesn't get beaten by 38 seconds by somebody that wasn't even a good swimmer as a male.
One of the other questions about potentially running again is, you've been in that pressured cauldron of the White House with your family. They all come under huge attack. The children, your wife Melania. Would you be happy to put them back in there? Would they be happy to be back in there?
Well, I won't get into that, but I will tell you they all love the country, and we did a great job. I did a great job as president. We had, I think, the best numbers probably of any, even the rebuilding of the military, the right to try. Every single thing we did was a home run. And then we did incredibly on warp speed when this China virus came in. We did a
Are
great
you glad that the vaccine program worked? I know that I was surprised, I'll be honest, but I was pleasantly surprised that you came out and said that you'd not only been fully vaccinated, but you thought other people should be.
Well, we saved tens of millions of lives. Maybe this would have been the Spanish flu of 1917 had we not come up. And I got it done in 9 months as opposed to, they were projecting from 5 to 12 years. I got it done in 9 months, so I'm very proud of it.
You were great
against mandates.
Right.
Strongly against mandates, but I'm very proud of what we did. I saved worldwide tens of millions of lives.
One last question.
Do you accept that early on in the pandemic that you didn't take it seriously enough, or you were being told how serious it was, but you weren't sharing that with the American people?
We're having an insight in what really happened with this microphone that recorded everything. You are watching the Leo Zagami show. We are reporting on the weekly events. We also have a team for the day that is based around the latest development on the food crisis and the announcement by the Rockefeller Foundation that we are really in front of something that's going to happen in the next 6 months. That's going to probably be a global famine of infinite proportions. In the meantime, we are, of course, lighting up things by showing you idiots who crash planes, Trump, who, of course, plays around with Piers Morgan who plays around with Trump, and everything to get a bunch of views. I mean, Trump loves controversy, so I mean, but I mean, it's good to hear what really went on behind the scenes, no, Christian?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cheerleader for this country. I want to be positive for this country. Everything seriously, and I take that very seriously. But I'm a cheerleader for this country, and our country's done better than anybody else. We've done a great job.
A final question, President Trump. It's been good to catch up after this lengthy time. It's been a tumultuous time for the world and the country. There is a chance that you're going to be running. Quite clearly, you've made that clear in this interview.
I don't think I made it clear.
You said you were going to be happy.
But I think people are going to be I don't think people unhappy, but I think people are going to be very happy.
To those who don't like you, there's people out there that don't like you. I know you said recently that you were very popular, and I think you're the most honest man in the world.
I'm a very honest man.
Was that true?
Yeah, I think I'm a very honest man.
But to those who don't like you,
Much more honest than you, actually.
really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty honest.
Because I don't think you're real.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm a much more honest person in most ways, in most respects.
Why am I not real?
But we're not going to get into that. Let's finish up the interview. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
My question was this. What message do you have to people who can't think of anything worse than you running again and will be distressed about it? Would you come back with all the experience you've had of being president? Would you come back a different person? Would you do things a bit differently?
So I like this question in a certain way because I came in and I was attacked from day one. Unfairly, Russia was a hoax. The impeachment.
Yeah, the Russia hoax, and that is something we're going to be discussing because this week the Russia hoax went back in the news also because of what is happening with Durham moving forward, and of course the Italian establishment in particular, and the Italian deep state, and a guy I pretty much hate. Is my number one enemy, Matteo Renzi, who apparently in October 2016, when he was at the White House with Barack Obama, arranged for this Russia hoax BS in case Trump was elected, which he was in November 2016. So that is also something that we need to discuss today.
Number one, it was all a big hoax, the Mueller report. And I had to fight back, and I had to fight back strongly. And if I didn't fight back strongly, I wouldn't have survived. And I say it, and I say it loud. I have two jobs to do. Run the country really well, and the second was to survive. No other president went through this fake stuff where fake things were made up like Russia. I'm the one that ended the pipeline. I'm the one that put all those sanctions on. I'm the one that saved NATO. NATO was dead. They had no money. They were broke. And I got the money to pour in from countries that would have never given it. If I wasn't the way I am, you know what would have happened? I wouldn't be there for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Now, would I like to be a little bit different? Yes, but if I didn't act the way I acted, it would have not been the great success.
I only asked you, when we did Celebrity Apprentice together, which I really enjoyed.
That's the last question, please.
Yeah. When I did that with you, I saw a very different Donald Trump in the boardroom for those hours every night. You were, you weren't as aggressive and confrontational.
Except I wasn't under siege.
That's what I mean.
With phony Russia hunts.
And by the way, I agree with you, but the Russian collusion thing was ridiculous.
No, and many others.
Right.
But he admits that the Russian collusion thing was ridiculous, at least Piers Morgan. At least he does.
If you got a chance again, would we see more of that Donald Trump, do you think?
Depends on how you do it. But if you treat it unfairly, you have to be tough and you have to fight.
Yes, like Bruce is pointing out, definitely. He didn't storm out in the middle of the interview. It was just the montage, the editing that Piers Morgan did to enhance the possibility of getting interested in his lousy product, because Piers Morgan has had a series of confrontations in the last few years that really left him on the margins even of the British TV scene. I mean, Talk TV is not like the #1 British TV station. And so Piers Morgan is kind of, trying desperately to gain people's attention on his new product.
Can you're set?
But it depends on how you do it. But I would do.
Okay, we'll remember that. Yeah.
Who's in trouble? Something has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, and if we don't have smart leadership, you're going to end up with no world. The world is going to be blown to pieces.
Now there is a story here, Christy, that before the beginning of the interview, he was given a note to Trump with all the things that Piers Morgan said against him, and he got upset. That, of course, might have happened. The author of the note apparently was Nigel Farage, who himself is on a rival TV station doing a similar kind of show with Piers. And of course, he is closer to Donald J. Trump, Nigel Farage, than Piers Morgan, that's for sure. Even if Piers Morgan knows him from the time he was a Celebrity Apprentice and he won back in the days, 15 years ago. So, I mean, a long time ago, Piers Morgan was part of Trump's most known TV show.
He was?
Yeah. He
I
won.
never watched that show. Really?
We have stupid people now running our country. The world is going to be blown to pieces.
Is that the last question? You've done last question 4 times now, so I feel like you're lying at this point.
I just haven't asked you about that.
Very deceptive.
You said last question 4 times.
I saw it.
This was a fantastic interview. I think it's fine. It's fine.
I haven't asked about that.
Fantastic in your opinion.
I wanted to end with the hole-in-one. I just haven't asked about the hole-in-one. Do you want to?
Go ahead.
You recently got a hole-in-one playing golf with Ernie S., one of the great golfers of the world. What was that like for you?
Well, it was great. He's a great guy, great player, one of the most beautiful swings, they say, in the history of golf, and very powerful. And I made it with him and actually 3 other tour pros, and it was quite a thrill.
Talk me through the shot.
Well, I hit the ball. It was hit well. It felt good. The wind was blowing hard into my face. It was a 5-iron that went 181 yards, and it went clank right into the hole. It landed on the green in one bounce, and it went clank. And Ernie, he's a low-key guy. One of the reasons he's acceptable, the Big Easy, right? But Ernie and the other pros started jumping up and down in the air. And I said, why are you guys so excited? He says, because we don't see hole-in-ones. They make, I guess, 1 every 3 tournaments, and then you have to be in the group. So it's
Have you had one before?
I've had 7. This was a 7.
7 hole-in-one?
7. This was my 7th, which isn't that high a number, believe it or not. If somebody plays golf, I hear the record is 49. Okay, people.
Did you buy a round of drinks in the bar after?
I don't know, but I would certainly have been happy to.
Well, you don't drink.
I don't drink, no.
But it is traditional. You buy a round for everyone in the club.
That is
Did you do that?
Probably happened. I didn't check. It probably happened because I own the club. I'm sure it happened.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for a great interview.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. That was a great interview. Thank you very much.
So, I mean, at the end,
Well, we heard all of it.
behind the scenes to actually finally have a real perspective of what went on in this controversial interview that this week everybody was talking about. But as you can all see, it's all about the hype. And like Public Enemy used to rap in the 80s, don't believe the hype. Absolutely, don't believe the hype. But Donald J. Trump, of course, was made, unfortunately, a target of the Italian deep state and of Barack Hussein Obama, and that's what we are also reporting this week, because of course I had to leave myself Italy, and as you know, I had to flee that country in May 2019, and the reason why was that in 2014 I also had been the subject of persecution by Matteo Renzi, and Christy knows it very well because she was there with me. At the time, Christy, you know what I was doing? I was doing the social unrest called the Pitchfork Revolution. Now in Italy, is a kind of social unrest. And Matteo Renzi didn't like what I was doing, so he basically got the governor of the Lazio region to convince this doctor to actually have me locked up. And that's what happened. I mean, it's pretty incredible. But I mean, the involvement also, there was also the involvement of a doctor from the Tavistock Institute that confirmed he was a doctor at the Tavistock Institute in front of a couple of lawyers, and then they filled me up with a bunch of drugs, and they basically from Subiaco, which at the time I didn't live in Subiaco, actually never even went to Subiaco.
Not really.
But because of Matteo Renzi, they intervened, and then they showed up early in the morning. This was this doctor who apparently, and then they got me, and with the signing, of course, because all of this had to be approved by the mayor, who is a friend of Matteo Renzi, Francesco Pelliccia, former mayor of Subiaco. So that is basically what happened. I was victim of Matteo Renzi because Matteo Renzi didn't want me in the political arena, and when I finally, a few weeks later, was able to come out of this trap thanks to a doctor, Dr. Bento, he himself, before signing, said, "You have to promise me not to go back to the political arena because I'm lifting," I mean, he was taking all the responsibilities, so he could let me off the hook from these criminals that want me locked up for life. And it actually happened. It actually happened that he said it was Matteo Renzi himself who was after you. I mean,
they wanted to give you an injection every week.
Yes, every 15 days.
Every 15 days,
So,
and if you didn't show up for this injection,
imagine this,
they would arrest you.
Yes, and the guy who organized all this, and this was, of course, confirmed by one of, I mean, he's an expert doctor criminologist, I mean, expert in crimes. I'm talking about Dr. Bento, who is a famous Italian doctor. He basically confirmed to me when he was signing this thing, he told me that the person behind it was Matteo Renzi. And he's, I mean, here we're talking about a very famous psychiatrist, criminologo, member of the Observatory on Mobbing. This is the guy who actually, I'm going to show it to our audience, who took on the responsibility to get me off the hook. And then I was able to travel to America and come in 2014 to sign my book deal. So this guy here really was a hero. He didn't do it for free. He took some money, but let's say he did it for a for a good price. He gave me, it wasn't much. He gave me like a discount. He just wanted to make it appear very, with the money transfer from me also, like it was all very proper, because he was basically, this gentleman, taking the responsibility to get me off the hook. And like I said, he's a medical, psychiatric, criminologo, so a psychiatrist, a criminologist, and expert from the National Observatory of Mobbing. So Renzi is pure evil, pure evil, pure evil. And to see what he has done behind the scenes against President Trump, it's a confirmation, no? Because then I became the president of Italians for Trump in 2015, and that's why in the end I had to flee Italy in May 2019, because they wanted to do the same thing. And as you can see, it says here that basically one of the latest tweets of Matteo Renzi, and here we can show the tweet on your screen. It says, now the people are writing, why is Matteo Renzi writing something like this? It's like, is he really scared? Does he have something to hide? Why is he defending himself? He says, me and Obama, who organized a fraud against Trump, this is crazy. In 2019 in Rome, I hope the Italian intelligence clears this up. But basically, this is Matteo Renzi. Now, Renzi claims that the accusation against him and Obama of conspiracy against President Trump are completely foolish, and he also considered very concerning the fact that someone thought that these claims could be true. He is kind of putting his, in front. The recipients of this message was clearly another former Italian Prime Minister, Giuseppe Conte, who in 2019 collaborated with Trump administration in order to ascertain the role of Italy in the Spygate case. As probably many readers already know, Spygate is essentially the illegal espionage authorized by the Obama administration against Donald J. Trump in 2016. However, Spygate means also the attempt to falsely associate Trump with the Kremlin by depicting him as a Russian agent. This is the heart of the Durham probe, and this was directly involves Hillary Clinton also, who could be the mastermind of this subversive operation.
And the Pope was involved too, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Vatican also was involved. In fact, they don't say it actually in this article, I think, but they say it, let me see, they say it also in an article by, let me show it, by the Gateway Pundit, which makes it very clear here that there was also the involvement. Of course, it says that Renzi, the Italian deep state, is also worried about the Durham investigation, claiming it is concerned with national interest. But these are criminals. Renzi, the Vatican, and these people are criminals. And that's why I had to flee Italy, and that's why I'm asking your support, guys, to spread the word that the Leo Zagami show is still ongoing, is still happening. Please share it on your social media, because you see, we determined that Obama's ambassador to the Vatican, so there was also the involvement of Obama's ambassador to the Vatican, the Holy See, had a change in the chief mission in July 2016, and that was very convenient. And actually, it was Obama's. So there was also, though, the involvement of the Vatican with this guy, who then gave the information to George Papadopoulos. George Papadopoulos was a little bit too gullible, and this professor, who probably is still protected and nobody has seen since then, fed some information to Papadopoulos, who then in turn
people just disappear.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy what happened. But when I came to America, you can put the air conditioning a little bit down. See if I can see if I can go back to an article maybe that I wrote in maybe to May 2019. here. I published it when I was out of Italy. And so this confirms everything that I published. This article, as you can see here, 31st of May, 2019, Italy's communist regime.
Left.
We just left 10 days before, so I could finally talk. I could finally be free.
For the last year that we were in Italy, he didn't write anything in Italian.
I didn't write anything in Italian. After I wrote also an article, in fact, in Italian. But here, I said, today I would like everything that I said today, I wrote back then. I you know, the Pitchfork Revolution, the people were behind it. However, Napolitano is a close friend of Bill and Hillary Clinton, was a member of the Italian Communist Party, and the guy, you see, the infamous Russia Gate. So I already laid out everything here, and I even talked about the future Prime Minister, Mario Draghi. So there was also a spy operation by this Occhio Nero, Giulio Occhio Nero and his sister, Giulio Occhio Nero, who was a member of the Italian Freemasons. So,
his name, Occhio Nero.
Yes, black guy. You know, then it says here, at that point, Giuseppe Conte was still prime minister, and he forced the resignation of several intelligence officers. And here I show, because Giulio, one of this Gemma Miliani, this public prosecutor who was involved in my case, as you can see here, was also involved in this case of the spies. And Occhio Nero, basically, this, because there was these people had basically Renzi, see, Prime Minister Renzi were in fact approached by Hillary Clinton and the Obama administration back in 2016 in order to frame Trump after his election by planting Hillary's classified emails on the American servers of Occhio Nero to force Trump to step down from office. And I would like to confirm that Giulio Occhio Nero has been saying about Obama and the former leader of Italy conspiring. So, and this Occhio Nero actually had also, and this was said to me by another Italian grandmaster, that I was also on his list of intercepted people. So, as the president of Italians for Trump. So, as you can see, there is a lot going on, and I was lucky enough, though, to leave Italy.
That's only because we were married. Because if we were not married, they would have found a way to lock you up. But
in Italy, when I was in Italy, because
he would never have left. But they couldn't do anything. They tried to convince me.
Yeah, they tried to convince you, but they didn't manage.
I got so mad, though. I got so mad.
I mean, it was pretty
I'm
hard.
just glad to be out of that country.
Absolutely. So I want to
God bless America.
God bless America, this great nation that, of course, has always in its history welcomed people who have been persecuted. And so it's incredible to see how Joe Biden these days, I mean, has limited the entrance of these Ukrainians from the border, when on the border there's a bunch of people have come through from Central America, gangs, whatever. I'm going to show you something here. This is basically close to the port of entrance of San Isidro and Tijuana. And you can see that there is basically a missing part on the wall where people actually, and this GOP lawmaker points it out, this big gap in the border wall is regularly used by people to come in. Check this out. And it's just on the hills over Tijuana and San Diego.
Well, we're here on the border, and as you can see behind me, the border wall with a big gap in it that when the Biden administration began, the building of the wall ended. And so we've been told that if we stay here a couple of hours, we might see some people actually passing through. If you look to your right, you would be able to see into Mexico. In fact, if my photographer will pan over to, you'll be able to see
So when Title 42 is ended, we will be flooded by immigrants, but the people who really come from a war, like the Ukrainians, they might be left instead to wait indefinitely, because now they can only come through the airports and not through the southern border. So this is what happens when you have Kamala Harris in charge of the border. And I guess that is pretty much insane when you think that Kamala Harris is nowhere to be seen. And when she's seen and when she talks, she better shut up, because she says some hideous things. I mean, she's not really capable of.
Biden also.
But Biden, it's also a guy who shouldn't open his mouth. They are ruining America, and Donald J. Trump actually made an excellent intervention at the Heritage Foundation about the destruction of our nation from within. Check this out. I'm gonna, of course, move a little bit forward this Trump speech, because it starts with a bunch of compliments, things and stuff. So let's see if we can actually go to the content.
A really terrific person, especially when you see what's happening on our border. Tom Homan. Tom is just amazing. And likewise, Mark Morgan, right from the beginning, has been with us. Mark, where's Mark? Mark, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Great job. Those two great people. And so many other incredible patriots in the room. Is that Sean? I think so. Yeah, we stand up. You know, now he's a movie star. That hair is so perfect. I think, you know, he did a hell of a job, too. And they appreciate it now, really, a lot. And he danced very well, too. We were putting in those Trump votes. We almost got you to the end, right? We almost got you to the end, but you did a great job. Thanks, Sean, very much. It's a true honor to join you this evening. For nearly 50 years, this legendary institution, which is what it is, has been at the forefront of the conservative movement, helping lead the fight to defend our cherished American history, culture, and traditions. Everyone here tonight, very special people, is united by the same key ideas and the same core values. We believe.
I think you will like this passage, Christy. I think you will like this passage. Listen.
Believe that the Declaration of Independence and the American Constitution represent the pinnacle of human civilization.
Yes.
Our founding documents are not a source of shame, they are a source of pride, and great pride. We believe that the United States of America is the greatest republic in the history of the world. In America, the people do not answer to the politicians answer to the people. That's the way it's supposed to be. We reject the discrimination and oppression of so-called equity, and we embrace the eternal principle of equality under the law. Law and order, thank you, so true. Law and order must be upheld without bias or prejudice, and the Constitution means what it says as written. We condemn censorship, blacklisting, and cancel culture because we know that the lifeblood of a free society is free speech, which is...
Now, this is very important, this passage, because at the same time this week, we had another guy who is Barack Obama, who, following what Hillary Clinton already laid out, is inviting social networks to censor everything. I mean, we have basically two different views, and we all know where we stand, of course, but it's incredible that people can still give any importance to what this other former president says. Listen to this.
Media companies, tech companies, social media platforms did not create the divisions in our society, here or in other parts of the world. Social media did not create racism or white supremacist groups. Didn't create the kind of ethno-nationalism that Putin's enraptured with. It didn't create sexism, class conflict, religious strife, greed, envy, all the deadly sins. All these things existed long before the first tweet or Facebook poke.
Facebook poke. Well, poke. Okay.
Solving
poke has been gone for a while now. Huh?
The disinformation problem won't cure all that ails our democracies or tears at the fabric of our world. But it can help tamp down divisions and let us rebuild the trust and solidarity needed to make our democracy stronger and to take on anti-women mentalities and deal with racism in our societies and build bridges between people. It can do that. Second, we aren't going to get rid of all offensive or inflammatory content on the web. That is a straw man. We'd be wrong to try. Freedom of speech is at the heart of every democratic society. In America, those protections are enshrined in the First Amendment to our Constitution. There's a reason it came first in the Bill of Rights. I'm pretty close to a First Amendment absolutist. I believe that in most instances, the answer to bad speech is good speech. I believe that the free, robust, sometimes antagonistic exchange of ideas produces better outcomes and a healthier society. No democratic government can or should do what China, for example, is doing, simply telling people what they can and cannot say.
Yeah, but then after you're inviting people, the Silicon Valley to do exactly the same. So I don't know how honest this guy is. Actually, he's totally dishonest, but I mean.
Or publish while trying to control what others say about their country abroad. And I don't have a lot of confidence that any single individual or organization, private or public, should be charged or we do a good job at determining who gets to hear what. That said,
now he starts. I mean, he's talking to the people in Silicon Valley. It's in the heart of Silicon Valley, in Stanford. So, I mean, university here.
The First Amendment is a check on the power of the state. It doesn't apply to private companies like Facebook or Twitter, any more than it applies to editorial decisions made by the New York Times or Fox News. Never has. Social media companies already make choices about what is or is not allowed on their platforms and how that content appears, both explicitly through content.
He controls Facebook, and then they try to censor conservatives, basically.
Content moderation and implicitly through algorithms. The problem is we often don't know what principles govern those decisions. And on an issue of enormous public interest, there's been little public debate and practically no democratic oversight. 3, any rules we come up with to govern the distribution of content on the internet will involve value judgments.
Value judgments. And what are these value judgments? So,
none of us are perfectly objective. What we consider an unshakable truth today may prove to be totally wrong tomorrow. But that doesn't mean some things.
Like, for example, the laptop of Hunter Biden. Like, for example, the fact that the virus comes out of a lab. Like, for example, many other things that your friends at Facebook and Twitter continuously censored, and then they regretted later on because they were proven totally true. And false is the presumption that we have to rely on fact checkers that are simply working, Christy, for these idiots, people like Obama.
Aren't truer than others, or that we can't draw lines between opinions, facts, honest mistakes, intentional deceptions. We make these distinctions all the time in our daily lives. At work, in school, at home, in sports. And we can do the same when it comes to internet content. As long as we agree on a set of principles, some core values to guide the work. So,
the guy wants to push censorship China style, and then he's kind of like masquerading it as it is instead a moment of great responsible democracy.
In the interest of full transparency, here's what I think our guiding principles should be. The way I'm going to evaluate any proposal touching on social media and the internet is whether it strengthens or weakens the prospects for a healthy, inclusive democracy. Whether it encourages robust debate and respect for our differences. Whether it reinforces rule.
This guy is such a deceiver that I put him #1 in my list of Antichrist, Christie. Let's go back to a serious former president.
Away from us very rapidly. In case you haven't noticed, very, very rapidly. We don't have a free press or a fair press, and free speech has been eroded, but we're going to get it back. We believe that America is a sovereign nation with a sovereign people, which means that we must have strong, secure, sovereign borders.
So this is a president, not this guy.
And self-governance.
This guy,
whether it helps us make collective decisions.
He's still controlling the White House. He's still there, wanting to censor everybody, together with his friend Hillary Clinton.
Contribute to that vision, I'm for. Whatever erodes that vision, I'm against.
Wow, this is Leo Zagami. This is the Leo Zagami show of Obama. What do you think of him?
I think that Obama and Biden, they don't, and all these people that are ruining America right now are not the spirit of America, which are the patriots. And I think that patriots will stand up for what they believe in, and patriots love America, and patriots always believe in America, and we don't bash America because, you know, we love America. So we will fight for America and what it stands for until the end. If I have to stand on a hill with my flag, with my life in jeopardy, I will. America's worth fighting for. So I'll definitely be there. I don't have any fear of dying. So
that's how a true patriot.
I'm sure everybody feels like that here. So
you get emotional when you say that.
Yeah, because I hear these people and they're like, oh, America's a shithole and blah, blah, blah. And I get so mad because, you know, how dare you say that about America? America is not a shithole. The people that are running it are evil.
But they're destroying it. That's
but America will rise up. And I think if Trump got back into office, he would fix everything. I don't agree with what he did with the vaccine, but I believe that there won't be any mandate for it because so I'm going to believe
in
that.
This book, I criticize Trump for taking that stand on the vaccine. I openly criticize him, but I also admit that he's, of course, a better president than what we have now. That, like I said earlier, is a moving, but he really loves America. He might,
George Washington in him.
Big Pharma might have given him maybe a little bit too much money.
I mean, there's a lot.
You know, there is something, but you can't have perfection here when you talk about people that reach the White House, unfortunately. And one of the worst is, of course, Barack Obama. I want to invite all of you who have not yet purchased this book to purchase it, because thanks to this book we can carry on doing more shows, and it's also a book that it's in the now. It really talks about everything that is happening right here, right now. And then the next book instead will talk about Hollywood. And of course, we will have to talk at one point or the other of Johnny Depp, because Johnny Depp, guys, this week was all over the news. Let's go to his Festival of Ice Cream moment. I think that this is really playing the best part of his life, playing himself here. And Christine, what do you think?
Depp, do you recognize this picture as being a picture of you?
Yes, Miss Heard kindly showed it to me the day after she took it, yes.
Okay. This picture, I'd move for the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 1094 and ask for permission to publish, Your Honor.
We have no objection, Your Honor.
Check the pic, check the pic.
Oh no!
I like the fact that when it comes down to Ghislaine Maxwell, there wasn't even a camera allowed. We couldn't know anything from, the courtroom was sealed. Somebody was drawing an image of Ghislaine Maxwell. Here we have every single second images, the testimony of Depp, the testimony of his friends, Amber's face wearing ridiculous clothes, and all kinds of things. It's of course a show for the people. This court case. It's like a massive show for the people, and this is.
Oh, that's she's talking about.
This is a picture of you on a black leather couch, passed out. Correct?
Passed out.
Yeah.
She totally set him up.
What residence?
That's in Boston.
I'm sorry?
That was in Boston when I was doing Black Mass.
In Boston. And that's ice cream on your lap, correct?
It is indeed. Ms. Heard asked me to hold the ice cream as she noticed that I was on the nod. That means falling asleep from the 17-hour day that I'd worked and also the opiates that I'd ingested. And if you'll notice, my right hand is in my pocket. So I wasn't participating in the Festival of Ice Cream. I was holding her ice cream, and
participating in the Festival of Ice Cream.
I would fall asleep and it would drop, and that was a wonderful picture to take for her.
Sure.
I don't know why she took it.
I mean, have you noticed these days, Christy? Nobody really cares anymore about the films they're doing in Hollywood, because there is no such things as films in Hollywood these days. I mean, everything is like projected for these platforms that, by the way, are also losing a lot of viewers like Netflix because they are way too woke. But apart from that, nobody gives a damn about the Oscars, and Will Smith arrives and makes it more exciting for everybody.
Like
now, of course, Johnny Depp is in a reality show with his own life. But I want to say something about Johnny Depp and his reality show here. Because I studied acting, and my grandmother used to teach acting, and I was able 10 years ago to even write a book with a very famous actor, Hal Yamanuchi, who participated to the film Wolverine, and he's a very good actor. He's a Japanese actor. And we were discussing a particular subject that maybe people outside of the acting world don't know about. It means remaining in character and being possessed by the characters that you portray. Now, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, The Ninth Gate, and Pirates of the Caribbean mixed all in one, that is Johnny Depp today. And it's like he hasn't exorcised out of his body the characters he has played. Characters that you play can become like demons. And that is the egregore that is created around them. And so when you are playing with Roman Polanski's black magical traps in the Ninth Gate, when you are yourself, the character screwed up on a million drugs, that is going out of Las Vegas, taking even adrenochrome and what next. And then you have also, all these movies, like they fit perfectly in his character of today. Pirates of the Caribbean, with another element of his personality. It's like he has mixed and dwarfed into all these.
I feel sorry for him because he really has a problem with alcohol and drugs. Then I don't know if he has.
And then he
now.
hangs out with Marilyn Manson and he gives them pills
But at least
shut
he's
him out.
honest.
No, I mean he's completely honest. But I'm saying the guy is possessed.
Well, yeah.
Send him to an exorcist. He also, I can't now find the exact fragment when he said that, but he said in court, he talked about demons.
Well, poor man.
So,
I
demons.
think he has a good heart. He's just, he has problems. And she was a horrible,
so it's Mustard's fault.
Let's listen to somebody.
Picture was taken. Is that what you're saying?
She snapped it.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this because you say you were in Boston. This is when you were filming Black Mass.
Yes, sir.
And you testified that was kind of the last film that you did when you were taking opiates, right?
Yes, it was right before the the trip to the island.
And then also another thing, Christy, that I'm sure you agree with, when you take opiates and all this stuff, you're opening yourself to of course,
well, he's vulnerable.
Portals.
Yeah, he's very vulnerable.
Portals that a portal is open, and you are able to receive these entities inside of you that can possess you, that can really literally possess you. There was also, it seems there was also another film. There was also another film in which there was actually Freemasonry involved, in which he was portraying, of course, at that time also. That was also an interesting film. It was about the how you say the assassins of all assassins, Jack the Ripper. The film in itself was based on a comic strip, and in that film there was actually him being deeply into opiates, really deeply. It was another film. The title, From Hell. That was the movie.
Did we watch that movie?
Well, it's definitely, I watched it many times. I actually went to the cinema. But that film, he, in From Hell, apart from the Masonic initiation, because it's a Masonic initiation at one point, but Johnny Depp, the character of Johnny Depp, who is in and out of these opium houses, because then he becomes a better investigator from this connection with the opium that brings him to an alternate reality. And I think that, like I said, Johnny Depp, definitely From Hell.
And you testified yesterday that opiates, you don't take opiates to get high, right? You've testified to that on a couple different occasions, correct?
You certainly can take opiates to get high. If I doubled the dose, then I would most assuredly be ready for sleep.
Right.
That's not a blackout. That's
sure. So if you double the dose, you'd be ready for sleep, but it wouldn't get you high in the way that other drugs would, correct?
Well, the high is it's a extreme downer. That's its job.
Right, and for that reason, I believe you testified yesterday or 2 days ago. It's not like you take those pills to get high. You remember giving that testimony, correct?
I said that it's not like I took the pills to get high. I took the pills to be normal, to stay normal, so that I wouldn't get sick.
Let's pull up 866, please.
What number did you say? I'm sorry.
Defendant's Exhibit 866.
But I also believe that I said that I had asked Nurse, or I told Nurse Debbie that I had told her that I needed more than I actually took because I always wanted to have one or two in my pocket just in case the kick started.
So, Christy, some pretty far out stuff. And there is also a link that Johnny Depp has with somebody who basically, Damien Eccles, who is a ceremonial magician, former visual artist, that as a member of the West Memphis 3, a group of teenagers controversially accused and convicted of a triple murder. Upon his release from death row in 2011 under a half-full plea, Eccles authored several autobiographies and spiritual books. And this guy apparently was linked and helped by Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, who also hangs out with Marilyn Manson. Johnny Depp, who was confrontational towards Amber for the possibility that she went with James Franco, who himself is a Satanist, and that's for real, for sure. He's a follower of Aleister Crowley and all that. So, Casey, what do you think about this landscape of dementia? And this leads us really directly to Volume 8, which is the book that originally came out in Italy with the title Illuminati and the Music of Hollywood, which you are already working on. And we will be, I mean, it's very interesting because all these things are happening. And somebody also told us that, of course, you know, why are you talking about the superficiality of Hollywood? But then he realized in the same context, he said, well, to understand maybe more why the Americans get so distracted with all this bullshit, you know? But remember that Hollywood is very important because Hollywood, and the name says it itself, functions as an outlet and as a portal for the demonic for a very long time. And so the book that I'm gonna publish in a new, of course, a completely revised edition from how it was originally published in Italy as Volume 8 of my Confessions, will really bring us closer to identify also other parts of the structure of this New World Order and this Illuminati, because my books are about bringing you the truth about all this hidden world. So, purchase Volume 7, support us through donations and whatnot. We are trying to, of course, entertain you, but also bring you information. And at this point, we will also ask you to intervene. And while you intervene, we will, of course, move forward with of course, the possibility for the audience to ask some questions, maybe on some of these topics, but also talk about the topic of the day and how they are preparing for this food crisis that seems to be imminent and will touch the entire world.
I think that whole thing, I think that they're both of them are guilty and both have demons, and she's just making, you know, she's filming stuff and trying to portray him as the bad one. She dresses the part in court, and
it's all a big role.
I think they're both they were just horrible to each other, and they really shouldn't have been married. And I think that probably their whole marriage was chaos, and somebody like him doesn't need somebody like that, more chaos. He needs somebody very calm to calm him down. And so she just made things worse. Because like there was this thing that happened in Australia where they destroyed a person's house So, I mean, that's not good. There's a lot of destruction, and
Well,
there's drinking, and there's forgetting, and, you know, he doesn't remember what he does. Maybe he hit her, but I think she hit him too. And I think that, you know, if you're a woman and you're hitting a man, you know, you could get hit back, you know. Don't hit each other.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
they're both guilty.
Both guilty, but they make, I guess, for great entertainment.
But I like Johnny Depp. I don't like her.
Here there's another passage from. We have already opened the phone lines. If you want to call in, +1 970 577 6369. I repeat, +1 970 577 6369. The lines are officially open to call in.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to discuss April 2016 now. When is Miss Heard's birthday?
22nd of April.
And in 2016, how was Miss Heard celebrating her birthday?
So that brings us to the fact that it was the 22nd of April yesterday, no? So I guess that she's celebrating this time.
They took it off, though. They didn't have a court case yesterday.
Yeah,
so maybe they took it off for her birthday.
Yeah, maybe.
We'd set up a dinner for her, which was, she wanted to have a dinner with her, with all her friends, and Josh, Drew, Rocky's boyfriend, who was some sort of chef, he asked her what she would like for him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
I'm not sure if it's offered for the truth of the matter asserted.
He got it.
Okay, all right, well then.
I'm learning.
There you go.
Let me put it a different way. Mr. Drew, who was a chef, which I don't believe is hearsay, Mr. Drew had made Mexican food Ms. Heard's favorite. Is that better?
And what were you doing that day before Miss Heard's birthday celebration?
Oh man, so much bullshit, so much superficiality today. But we have to lighten up, of course. So the subject of the day.
Did you open the phone line?
Yes, I opened the phone lines. And nobody call if you want. We are live from Palm Springs, California. Of course, in case people start calling, we will stay an extra few minutes beyond our deadline, which is usually 12 o'clock local time, which is in approximately 10 minutes. If not, we will be saying bye-bye and going for a pizza today.
Not going, I just got one in there.
A frozen one.
Frozen.
I was going from here to the kitchen, and then from the kitchen to the living room to eating. Okay, guys. So yesterday, after the extraordinary fresh pasta Christy made, usually on Saturday she doesn't cook. Yeah,
Sunday you cook sometimes.
And Sunday I cook. Actually, I'm going to cook tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow I'm going to cook. Why not? Why not? This is the Leo Zagami show. Did Johnny Depp and his girlfriend make their own pasta? I don't think so, Bruce. He had even a chef making some. I think these people don't know how to cook a boiled egg. And maybe that's why they are so distant from real life. With their privileged life, that they then resort to drugs. Welcome to the Leo Zagami show. Who am I talking with and where are you calling from?
Hey, ciao, Leo. This is Scotty. How you guys doing?
Hi, Scotty.
Hi, Scotty. So, regarding today...
Go ahead.
Regarding today, you enjoying the show? What's the subject of choice for today that you prefer talking about?
Well, I always seem to catch it at the end. I don't know what time you guys are starting it. So, Obama called it a democracy. You know, we don't live in a democracy. We live in a republic. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people refer here in the States as a democracy. We're not a democracy. We're a republic of the people. You know, I thought of him as the Antichrist, but I think I'll stay with what my father was telling me about.
Obama, you mean? Obama, the Antichrist, yes, definitely. A willing candidate.
Like I said, I don't think he'll be it. I think it'll, like I said, it'll be a robot. I really do believe that. In regards to Trump, I believe he'll be reelected, and it will be the second Trump, and then the World War III will kick off. That's just my opinion. You could say, how do I know? I don't know anything. I just, you know.
Go by the feelings. Now, instead, regarding people who just for a bunch of likes and visualizations throw themselves from planes, what do you think about that?
Repeat that again?
We showed at the beginning of the show one guy.
Oh, but he didn't say it.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Okay, but it's very easy. It's very easy. I can tell you what it's about. It's just a guy to get more visualizations, 1.7 million. He ended up throwing himself from the plane and showing it, of course, with a parachute and showing it to the world. And what people are doing to get visualizations is incredible, and at times they resort to this kind of trickery, let's say. But we are doing this show instead just to entertain and, of course, to bring you information and news on all the latest topics. And the topic of the day that in particular we were discussing today is the warning that the Rockefeller Foundation made about being in an imminent food crisis worldwide in the next 6 months. So for that reason, I want to ask you, how do you feel about a food crisis in the next few months, and are you preparing for it?
Well, it is imminent, and I've been preparing for before this all happened. If you look in biblically, you see, this is my dilemma. I don't know if they're doing it just because the Bible says it and they're pushing it in advance, or if it's actually happening biblically, like where God's ready to basically put the hammer down. I think we got about 90 days worth of food left in the whole world, and basically it's going to implode and there's going to be chaos. However, there's always wild cards. You know, like you can't really predict the future. People who claim they can't. There's too many wild cards. So I think it's going to be chaotic. However, there's, as a collective, if people get together and they see what's happening, we could stop this. I don't think the Bible is set in stone as far as, like, if we, well, I think God could change it, and he could prolong it. I think he's done it.
I mean, the message is rather clear in the New Testament. There will be an attempt to bring people to the mark of the beast. There will be an Armageddon. There will be a final confrontation, but there will be also a resurrectory move, because people who will not accept the mark of the beast will eventually join the Messiah in the kingdom of God. So I think there is a resolution that is very clear in the Bible. So thank you so much for calling in today and your question.
Hey, real quick, you know, the thing is that we don't have to go through it the way there's going to be. You have to have a very bad time before you have the tribulation.
Absolutely, but I think that we are in it. I think we are in it. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. Who am I talking with? Hello? Who am I talking with? I think we have some problems here with the hello? I know. I seem to have lost we had a few callers in line. Thank you for the latest caller. Unfortunately, we have to limit to one question only today, because we have a lot of people who, of course, want to in some way participate. So if you want to call, it's +1 970 577 6369. Now we have a moment in which the phone line is open. Please call, and you will participate to the show with me and Christy. We still have a few minutes here. Today, the show went quite fast, Christy, but we still have to show also one of our favorite episodes of the week. I'm talking about Mike Tyson, who started to hit a guy on the plane. Hello, welcome to the Leo Zagami show. Who am I talking with?
Hi, Leo, and hi, Christy. It's Donna from Connecticut.
Hi.
Hi, Christy. I love you. I got to read your books. I saw an interview you gave, I think it was Thursday. You had a guest on that talked about
UFOs.
ufology. Are you going to have more shows like that? Because that's a big interest of mine.
Well, we definitely will dedicate more time on a Thursday to certain paranormal subjects, including ufology. But to tell you the truth, of course, we can't limit ourselves only to ufology, because there is a variety of whack jobs out there, and we would like to give instead to ufology. You know, when we talk about it, the place it deserves, with the people that really know what they're talking about. And our guest, Donald Schmidt, is one of them, and we hope to have other guests like him maybe in the future who can still bring forward this topic, which is controversial but in a credible way. So thank you so much for encouraging us in doing that. I'm showing at the moment on the screen one of the events of this week. In this week, we have seen all kinds of things happening, and this guy here was trying to. I mean, he got an autograph, and then he continued harassing on the plane Mike Tyson until he got literally punched by Mike Tyson. And you can see the images here that have, of course, been circulating all over the world. What do you think about it? I mean, the guy was drunk and he was annoying, and we know how people can be really annoying at times, but maybe Mike Tyson should have been a little bit more moderate. I mean, the guy is of course a world-renowned boxer, and he could really kill somebody with those hands.
Yeah.
So I think it was a little bit going over the top.
Show more restraint. But the subject itself has been a topic that I've researched for decades, and very few programs want to go near it because it's so controversial.
Yeah,
and
you're talking about the UFOs. Yeah, well, definitely the UFOs is a controversial subject, but
I like
the fact is, in the case of our guest, and I really want to invite all the people who are viewing us today to go and check out this show, which was broadcast originally on Thursday, the 21st of April, and it was a great show because we tried to keep it based on the facts rather than the speculations.
Right.
And
everybody's got their opinion too, you know.
Yes, but it's not a question of opinion here. It's a question of getting also the right guest that has the right background. In the case of Donald, my friend Donald, who is one of the curators of the Roswell Museum, author of several books on the subject, he is also Christian, and he has a Christian mindset. There is a lot of these people. Yes, and there is a lot of people instead that follow the UFO phenomena that are a bit too lost into the New Age kind of. No?
Right, but what I've also have researched, and I've been doing it for a lot of years, a long time. I started a long time ago with the Sumerian tablets, and there is a lot of information in the Sumerian tablets that are pertinent to what is going on today with gene modification and black ops, the technology that our country is hiding from us. A lot of it fits together, but there are a lot of crackpots out there.
Yeah.
And I tend to have a good talent for separating the crackpots from what I feel is authentic. And I've got to go and look at that interview again because I agreed with him on points and I disagreed with him on points. But I do that a lot,
Yeah.
But still,
which was the part that you disagreed with?
He was talking. He was playing down Roswell, and I had recently
I think that you might have maybe misunderstood playing down Roswell, because he's the curator, one of the curators and founders and co-founders of the Roswell Museum, and his book Witness from Roswell is a book that I advise you to read, because thanks to all the witnesses that he literally managed to interview directly. I mean, this is not, just, it was a very methodical research, but also finding all these witnesses who were still alive on their deathbed to give him that kind of information made it really, I mean, if only 10% or 5% of that book is real, it's already incredible. So I think you should definitely read the new 75th anniversary edition of his book, because it brings you the correct understanding of the events. And trust me, he's not no skeptic. He's actually pretty grounded in facts, and he proves that something really happened there in Roswell. And we are, of course, this year celebrating the 75th anniversary of that.
The Roswell Museum is very good.
And the Roswell Museum, if you ever visit Roswell, I advise you to go and visit the Roswell Museum, because it's an incredible place. And I mean, there is no speculation. There is hard facts. That's why he might have the attitude of a skeptic, but he does it because he really wants to go down to the truth. He wants to keep himself grounded in truth, which, like we said, for a subject like that is very important. Thank you so much for calling in today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Bye.
Okay, this was the Leo Zagami show. We have entertained you for almost 2 hours, Christy, and time goes fast, eh? Time goes fast. Do you want to take still a phone call, or
I'll get Rambo.
Get Rambo. We will keep the phone open now for another few minutes in case you want to call. The phone number is +1 970 577 6369. This is the Leo Zagami show with Leo and Christy Zagami, and of course, at the end of the show, we have
Sans baby blanket because it's cold.
It's Rambo, Chihuahua. Rambo, how are you? Well, this week, actually, a Chihuahua entered the book, the Guinness Book of Records, as the oldest dog in the world, 21 years of age. And of course, I hope that Rambo can reach and beat that record.
He will.
He will, absolutely. So it seems like nobody else is calling, so I think we are gonna go for the end of the show, dancing around, and of course thanking you all for having been with us today. Please spread this video, put like, and just spread tell your friends, either on Facebook at the Leo Lion Zagami in America page, or on the channel Zagaman, or the channel CANALE Ufficiale, the Leo Zagami Show. There is always a possibility of following us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Have a nice Saturday, everyone. Have a nice lunch. If you're eating lunch, you're having lunch now.
Leo and Christy Zagami from Palm Springs, California. Take care. Have a great weekend. Oh, yes. Take care. Frozen pizza is waiting for us. Ooh. That's not very exciting compared to the fresh pasta of yesterday, but
Oh, can't always be Christmas.
yes.